Their uniforms may be different, but they're just as unshakable as ever. Come on, Lloyd Bannings, you can do this. Fugitive spotted. Capture him. Oh dear, we get the good music at least. Oh, you losers are in for a treat. I almost have a rising sun built up, which is just what I need right now. And you know, since I'm by myself, all on my lonesome, I'm gonna whip out the heavenly noodles. Alright, paralysis, from my recollection, is like kind of irrelevant because it just means no crafts actually. It's a little more detrimental than I thought. For our casters, it's literally irrelevant, which is what I was thinking of. Give me the seal cure. You know, it was only one turn, but like, what else was I supposed to do? I don't think Lloyd has good art set up. I was thinking of like for Ellie and Tio, when they get paralyzed, it's just like, yeah, who cares? Raging spin. Oh no, not the fang. Yeah, I'll just kill you all with a raging spin. No big deal. Or get freaking close to it. I see you didn't equip your quartz back. Yeah, I kind of forgot to because I don't really use arts with Lloyd. I probably should though. Hey, 79. My best bet of sneaking into Crossbow City is going to be from the front line. Come hell or high water, I have to make it out of here in one piece no matter what it takes. Commendable effort. Who would have thought a simple detective could hold out so long against the Born Again Defense Force? Isn't he a former teammate of Second Lieutenant Seekers? Maybe we shouldn't be so surprised. Enough talk, disarm him now. Remember, our orders are to take him alive. I don't think so. Damn, he can still move. Help me understand. Why bother going this far? Can you just not stomach your precious crossbow changing so much? Wake up. No matter how much you struggle, you'll never make a difference all on your own. That's not true. The only thing stopping us from making a difference is refusing to stand up and try. I refuse to be swept away by this. I refuse to just close my eyes and let the truth pass me by. The people I care about need me, and I swear I'll take them back. So understand this. I will never give up. No matter how many times you knock me down, I won't surrender. You could break my legs, but I'll always get back on my feet. I mean, like, you know, if you don't have legs, there's not really much you can do there, buddy. What's with this guy? What a shame. Charge him on my commands, men. Let's see him get up after this. Roger. Aim for the legs. All they know the secret. It's over. Don't hold back, Lloyd. Not until the bitter end. Kia, Ellie, Tia, Randy, Wazi, Chief Sergei. Please give me your strength. I'm disappointed in you. You seem to have forgotten to include someone in your prayer. Oh, my good friend, Mysterious Voice. What was that? It sounds like it's coming from inside my... What the? Is that Zeit? Or like Zeit's ancestor or something? Leave now, soldiers of this false paradise. This man falls under my charge. Confounded beast. The Crossbow Defense Force would never let themselves surrender to a mere cryptid. Oh well, the wolf just enjoyed his little snack. Alright, nah, he decided, nah, you don't taste good. Well, must I repeat myself? No, that's quite alright. Retreat! It would seem I gave them a great deal more than shock than I intended. It's been ages since I've assumed this form after all. Perhaps I may have forgotten just how to restrain myself. There are so many things I could say about this right now. Well, I'll keep it short and ask just one question. And that would be... What the hell, Zeit? How is your timing always this good? Oh, so this is Zeit, just straight up. Also, Zeit can talk, Pog. Even more qualities to his greatness. A holy beast sent by Eidos, you? Well, that's not entirely correct. It would be simpler if you think of me in such terms. You already know of the Septarians bestowed upon mankind by the grace of the goddess in times past. We holy beasts are tasked with keeping vigil over those treasures as well as their keepers. When you say we, does that include the dragon that appeared during the Libero incident? An excellent deduction. That dragon is known as Ragnar. I remember that dragon. He's indeed one of my brethren. He remained in the land now known as Libero for centuries to observe the Septarian of space. However, even I am unaware of its current location now that his oath has been fulfilled. This is all a little tough to follow. But would that mean you've been here in Crosswell since the distant past yourself? That's correct. I've dwelled in this land since before the Great Collapse over 1200 years ago. As for the reason the Septarian and Mirage vanished from its domain, as well as the actions man took in their misguided attempts to revive it, both are knowledgeable that I hold to a certain extent. Those are things the others and I have never had the means to unearth on their own. The Septarian of Mirage, gifted by the goddess and inherited by the Kuroi family. Why they disappear? Why does Kia, of all people, bear the burden of trying to replace it? Please, Zeit, I have to know the truth. Not just about what happened 1200 years ago, but how it relates to what Kia went through 700 years ago. Or years later, words. Very well. I presented myself in this form with every intention of telling you. The Septarian that Eidos bestowed upon this land, its name was Demiurgus, the treasure that governed the power of Mirage. Mirage is the element that controls perception and cognition, so too does it hold dominion over casualty. A portion of this land's people had a goal for its power, and at the center of their shared aspirations was the Kuroi family. That goal was to unsee Eidos as a supreme deity, in lieu of a god that could walk amongst mankind. A god that could guide its people through empathy and infinite wisdom, a god that could change the very fabric of fate itself. On the surface, its power resembles that of the Aureole, which could grant man's desires without end. However, Demiurgus was bestowed with a high-minded dignity, and so was not subject to the same faults as the Shining Grain. Within it was the wisdom of judgment to guide humanity without corrupting it in the process. In wielding this power, Demiurgus was thus capable of shepherding mankind into its proper path. And it would have done so had its own heart not reached its limit. The world is an irrational place, and the people who live upon it are comprised of their numerous natures and deeds. To understand them and steer their course, the Septarian require the sense of empathy, just as humans have. With time, that empathy deteriorated Demiurgus' heart, giving way to an enervating anguish. It feared that if things continued, it would come to harm those it sought to protect. Thus, with a heavy heart, it steeled its resolve and made its decision. And so, by unthreading the nexus of its own casualty, the Septarian and Mirage disappear from this world. So that's what happens. What about the people left behind? What did they do? In the wake of the Septarian's departure, they were left bewildered, sorrowed, and frightened. But instead of reflecting upon the motivations behind Demiurgus' choice, they strayed from the path it had sought to lead them onto. Thereafter, those zealots became obsessed with creating an entity commensurate to the Septarian they had lost. In the beginning, they were clueless, merely stumbling through the darkness. After 700 years, they had gathered enough knowledge to not only develop but master their own unique practice. Alchemy, a magical art capable of giving form to the formless. It was then that a grand plan was formulated. They founded the cult as a pawn to play from the shadows, then entrusted them with rearing the future core of the new Septarian. The land of crossbow would then need to be primed for their grand ceremony, the pinnacle of alchemic transmutation. These were the measures outlined by the alchemists of the Croy family several hundred years ago. To ensure their plan was financially feasible, the Croy family adopted a public image as prestigious bankers. Meanwhile, the cult began the steps to eventually awaken the core that had been the object of their worship. Now, 500 years later, we've arrived at our current predicament. It's also unbelievable. But I feel like I can finally grasp the big picture here. Zeit, Maribel called Kia the Septarian of Zero. What did she mean by that? Does that make her different from the Septarian of Mirage? Unfortunately, I do not have the answer we seek. It could be that the Crow family made an unexpected discovery as their 1200-year delusion began to materialize. If that's the case, they may not have created an entity that equaled Demiurgus. That's to say, the Septarian of Zero may very well surpass the might of the original. The Ion of White is one such example. The power it demonstrated was not that of its own, but rather a Septarian. However, the Septarian of Mirage did not possess the ability to manipulate reality so instantaneously. That faculty is more akin to a different higher element, space. Assuming there is even more to their artificial Septarian than we currently know, I cannot begin to fathom what it may be capable of. I was afraid you'd say that. There's one more thing I'd like to ask. Based on what you've told me, Kia, she really isn't human, is she? She is, and yet she's not. Kia is a synthetically created being designed to serve as the core of a manufactured Septarian. She's most likely a homunculus that was created through advanced transmutation. Kia probably realized the truth herself a long time ago, and yet never once did she stop smiling for us. Are Millium and Altina also homunculi? Chat? I think they are, aren't they? Isn't that what they called them? They're homunculi? They had a term for them. Like, not robots. They had a term for Altina and Millium. Is this the Calvardian border? The defense force should have difficulty finding us here. This will be a good opportunity to rest. Thanks, Zeit. You really saved me back there. That's a big giant void. What is that? A barrier of some sort that appeared around Crossbow City. It would seem that only those that are permitted may freely enter and exit. Oh, that's unfortunate. We're not going to be back there for a while. And those that are cannot pass through it at all. Oh, so they're trapped. Be they living creatures or machines? You gotta be kidding me. As you saw when you escaped, pleural grass has begun to bloom all throughout the state of Crossbell. It would be accurate to think of it as a sign that the land itself has become one with the newly born Septarian. Zeit, just what is pleural grass? I've heard that it shares some sort of connection to the Septium veins underground. It was once the proverbial eyes of the former Septarian Mirage. As it bloomed, Demiurgus could observe and understand the surface world. It's also capable of distorting the surrounding space when spiritually linked to the Septarian. That's the most probable cause of the cryptid's sudden emergence. Such beings should not exist on this plane by nature. I think I understand. Those disgusting rituals the DG cult was conducting. They were all about taking advantage of the pleurograss properties to perfect gnosis, right? Yeah, their goal was to accumulate the knowledge and personalities of the victims who fell into the drug's influence. Said corpus of data would subsequently be transferred into the girls slumbering within the cradle of the Sunfork. Vast amounts of information would then self-organize to nurse forth the high-minded dignity they sought to recreate. Then, after 500 years, the core of the Septarian awoke. That's the extent of my knowledge. The situation in which you find yourself is the will of the cult's puppet masters, meticulously crafted over the course of centuries. On that topic, the choices presented to you are now rather limited. Would you not prefer to flee to foreign soil until the storm has subsided? I understand why you'd ask. My uncle's home is in Calvard, so it's true that I have somewhere to lay low if I had to. But no, that's not an option. It's not an option because we can't go to Calvard until trails through daybreak. There's work to be done here. I have answers to find and a case to crack. You now. Solving this crisis and uncovering the truth will be more than just a one-man job, too. Ellie, Tio, Randy, and not just them, everyone. I need all of their strength. So you see, I can't run, I can't hide, I have to go back and face it all. Sorry to do this after you brought me all the way here, but I still have a duty to fulfill. What truth are you hoping to ascertain? Isn't it obvious? I don't care about her powers or where she came from. What I want to know is what Kia wants more than anything else in this world, and I need to hear it straight from her heart. Chances are I'll never be able to find that out unless I bring her home. There's also a matter of what happened to the old Septarian. How can we expect Kia to shoulder the burden Demiurgus couldn't? He is like family to me. I could never sit by and let her suffer that fate. So I'm gonna take her back, even if that means kicking the President and Arios off of their pedestals. Is this Wazzy? Man, Wazzy, you sure picked impeccable timing. Huh? Oh, my boy Kevin! Finally! You exist again! Wazzy, what are you doing here? I wasn't expecting Wazzy's to be auto-scroll, so I didn't get to read it, but it was on the screen long enough. Wait, a boss? And Reese and Kevin too? Good to see you again, Bannings. Indeed, it's been too long. I've seen Reese, like, a lot. Kevin, on the other hand. Hey, how you been hanging these past 4 months? Thanks for remembering me, by the way. I could never forget you. Hard to forget the names and faces of the Septian Church's Grossritter. Wait, Wazzy, does that mean you're... Quasi Hemisphere, the Sapphire Testament, otherwise known as the Ninth Dominion of the Grossritter of the Septian Church. Oh, so you're part of the Grossritter. It's a pleasure to make your re-acquaintance. Have voice acting. Incidentally, I am a Knight of the Grossritter. Yeah, I kind of figured that out. I work in the service of Wazzy. You gotta be kidding me. Haven't you really been stringing me all this time? Wait a second. When we first met Reese, neither of you said even a word about any of this. It was like classified or whatever. My apologies. I pretended not to know who he was. Father Wazzy's undercover mission is regarded with the utmost secrecy. Her arrival here completely fooled that old Grumperalda. He had no idea who the real mole was. That is true. Their group was called the Testaments. Man, Lloyd, you're able to piece together like the whole oh, Maribel and Dieter Croy and the stuff about Rishia and Yin, but you're not able to piece this up? Come on now. I really owe her one for that. Happy to be of service. I mean, yeah, for once Reese standing out like a sore thumb, she's worked out. Anyone could have seen her through her sister act. I'll bet the Archbishop was beside himself when she walked through the door. I have no idea what you're talking about, and besides, you're hardly in any position to preach to me about how to successfully go undercover, knowing your track record. To be fair, none of them look anything like your average clergy people. Okay, it's enough catching up for now. You see, the actual reason we're here is because he called us. You mean Zeit? Yes, that's correct. I had a hunch your resolve would remain firm, so I thought it prudent to recruit collaborators on your behalf. Now that you know I've been infiltrating Crossbell, you could probably fill in the blanks. But the Grossritter has seen this situation coming for a while now, to a certain degree at least. Still, there were a lot of gaps to bridge. We didn't know the Croy family was behind the conspiracy for one, or Kia's true identity. Zeit recently brought us up to speed on the whole story, like I'm sure he did with you. That being said, what we are contending with here is an artificially reconstructed Septarian and Mirage. The situation is far beyond the scope of the Grossritter typical duty of artifact retrieval. As such, the circumstances would normally make this out of our jurisdiction. But on the other hand, we couldn't just ignore the society's involvement in this little brouhaha. That's where you come in, Mr. Detective. You're in for getting our hands dirty. That's about the size of it. I think we'll be allowed to intervene if it's under the guise of collaborating with you. So Lloyd, what do you say? There's just one thing I need to confirm. Kia, what does the church plan to do with her? Right for the juggler. That one's a toughie. Words. Yeah, but being dishonest will get us nowhere with him. I agree, he deserves to know the truth. And that's what we'll give him. The Septarian of Zero is far more dangerous than the Septarian of Space, the Ariel, ever was. That much is for certain, even if we still haven't grasped the full breadth of her powers yet. You've been locked away for weeks. Are you aware at all of what's been happening around the continent? Not really. All I heard is that the Civil War has broken out in the Empire. Fully has it. It all got put on the fast track after that armored division they tried to send across the border got snuffed out. And you know how the Golden Stallion rolls, but every time they tried to push back, they got whooped all over again by ions. Right when things were going to Gehenna in a hand basket over there, the Noble Alliance troops scuttled out and occupied Heimdall. It was then that the Blood and Iron Chancellor was shot. No one's seen him since. Now that the Empire is ablaze in the flames of civil war, you expect it to be doused anytime soon. Meanwhile, the Republic has been in an economic crisis as a result of Crossbow's actions. On top of that, the terrorist activity has been in full swing to the point where the President has formally declared a state of emergency. When it rains, it pours. You don't even know the half of it. It's not like things are coming up in roses in other countries either. Questionable activity is beginning to surface in regions Erebronia and Calvar that traditionally had no other thumbs. All the while, President Croy has been pressuring heads of state throughout the continent to have them bend a knee to Crossbow, that is. Naturally, he has the power of the Septarian to coerce them with words. Exactly. He had the ability to repel the Imperial Army, one of the most powerful military forces in all of Zemuria. And that's just with the 3 archaisms the Society supplied. What do you think would happen if they were mass-produced, souped up by the Septarian of Zero, and deployed continent-wide? Kia would never agree to that, not when it means harming innocent people. In all technicality, it doesn't seem the Archaisms are controlled by the Septarian directly. More likely, the Septarian's power has granted them the ability to move autonomously as her guardians, much like that Ren Girl's Archaism, Pattern Matter. No way! I'm inclined to agree on that point. Haas, I seriously doubt that little girl's in the driver's seat there. And that makes it all the easier for those ions to be abused by just about anyone with her none the wiser. Whether or not Kevin's consciously in control is beside the point. A power like that is still much too dangerous to ignore. Okay, now I know where the church stands. But despite your stake in this, I'd still like to ask for your cooperation. Really? I thought you were going to turn this down for sure. I'm just being realistic here. I know this isn't something I can do by myself. Am isn't on my side either. The longer this drags on, the more Kia will be made to suffer. But let me make one thing perfectly clear. If you lay even one hand on Kia, I'll stop you, even if it means fugging you to my dying breath. Alright, Lloyd, calm down. I'm not the only one. Ellie, Tio, Randy, they would say the same thing. We'll never let you take her away. Call it a fallacy, call it illogical. I don't care. We're her family. We won't let you hurt her. Damn, I knew you were a sharp guy, but I didn't know you had that kind of fire in you. I think I'm starting to get why you like him so much, Wazzy. That's a light way to put it. The man's stolen my heart. Wazzy. I'm serious, Wazzy. If you... And it was a dominion of the Grosswither I swear on Adios' name. You will not be excluded from how we choose to deal with her. Your opinions and input will be heard. I know it's not ideal, but this is the best I can do given our position. Sound good to you? Yeah, it's enough for now. And we have a deal. Okie dokie, time to get back to work. Let's move out, gang. What's that? That sound, it harkens me back to times past. The Heavenly Chariot, I take it. What the heck? Airships? Tactical crafts reserved for use by the Grosswither. We call them Merkaba. Each is equipped with a number of stealth functions, including but not limited to optical camouflage. It'll be just what we need to stay discreet while traveling through cross-Bellan airspace. Well, Lloyd, ready to go? Yeah, let's do it. Kia, everyone. Wait for me, I'm coming. Oh, that was a really quick chapter. Well, okay, the Prison of Hard Knocks. Complete fragments crossing false paradise. Save here.